Oh, hello, y'all. It's your girl, Davia. Welcome back. I always appreciate you being here per usual. I know I'm all smiles right now, but I was really trying to fight myself. Like, do I want to come on camera right now? I'm running errands and I just have something kind of on my heart to talk about, but it's not fully developed. So I'm like, Zaviel, like, why would you come on camera when you don't have your thoughts developed? Like, because I'm just that type of girl that's gonna say what's on her mind, and if it goes well, cool. If not, that's life. But one thing that came to mind, and no one really said it recently, it's just something I've seen in the past or I've seen said over and over in different ways, but a lot of people right now are going through the walking away from friends, from family, from people that they grew up with. They are really walking away, and I know that that can be hard for a lot of people to understand or even ridicule and say, well, if you go through things, that's what you get for walking away from people or letting go of people. And it's hard when you don't have the full story, and even when someone tells you their story, you barely have the full story still. There's their story, the person's story, than what God saw and God understands about the situation, So I feel for the people that are being told to cut someone off or getting the nudge online or feeling confused and end up cutting people off, because it's hard out here. So I wanted to talk about that perspective a little bit and be like, first of all, you don't know what people are going through. Well, they're talking about it on camera. Okay, listen to what they have to say and then give it the benefit of the doubt. Pray for them. Pray that they will get the clarity that they seek, especially when people are walking away from really close people that they never imagined themselves walking away from, especially if it's not in their nature. And even if it is, like I said, have grace. Pray that they find their way. Pray that they are doing exactly what they need to do and that clarity arises. Less judgment is truly the key, and it sounds cliche, but it's true. Even me and all the stories I've told you guys and what I've gone through, y'all still don't know the half of it. There's been so many times in my life where I've gone through things. Y'all know it ain't no production. Y'all know you're gonna see the finger. You're gonna see it because my hands are cold and I'm doing my best here. But, you just don't know the half of it. And I know for me, I've even judged someone that has made a decision before, and now life has taught me, like, don't do that. You just don't know what you're judging. You just don't know what that person has endured and that has caused them to make such a difficult or really abrupt or angry decision. I think one thing that I can relate to is the idea that when a cycle continues in your life and you continuously, like, for example, right, you'll have people say, like, dang, you need to find better friends. Like, ooh, they're not good people for you. You don't have the best judgment in people. But then when you walk away from them, it's like, you're walking away from all the good people in your life. Like, there's a difficult point that you get to. And I think the key that God is trying to, like, teach us, the divine, I'm not speaking for them, I'm just speaking off of what I've learned, is the idea that walking away isn't necessarily the end goal or the key. It's the idea that you have to walk away from something when you lack clarity on how to move, when you lack a level of boundary. And even if you have boundaries, how to really uphold your boundaries is what a lot of us are learning. We're learning how to stand on business, to love someone and still hurt feelings, and hurt feelings just means you've been getting away with that for a while. I can't let you get away with that anymore. And a lot of us have a hard time with that. Or the conversation starts and people get angry. So now you intended to have a really elevated conversation, but then anger gets in the way. And then we're like, well, F you. And life happens. And I've kind of been through something like that, and I think there's also been times where I have taken the high road and I've talked to people and it didn't end too well because I didn't articulate too well what I needed, because I didn't know what I needed. A lot of times when you're used to letting people slide over and over again, how do you build a boundary without breaking the relationship or without someone getting angry. And yeah, it might sound easier than not. Now I feel like I have the skill way more. But in the past, I was emotional about certain things. People I know that have cut people off or have had to set boundaries, they get emotional about it because sometimes the people don't want to hear your side of the story, so on and so forth. And so I just feel for people going through this right now. It's an uncomfortable situation. But one thing I can say is nothing has to be so definitive. It doesn't have to be you hate them forever. It doesn't have to be they are the worst people forever. It's just, this is what you need right now. You know, like that's something that has really helped me. It's just, this is what I need. I need to walk away. I need space. I need to clear my mind. I need to figure out how I'm going to uphold my boundaries. And a lot of times, people that are doing this right now, 9 times out of 10, they aren't used to doing it. And so they did keep people in their lives for 10 plus years. I had many people in my life for years and years, and it was this thing where you want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but then when you keep seeing you attract the same people over and over, something gotta change, something's gotta give. How do I keep finding myself in these situations? I see someone I know. Huh? Superstar. Hi. Hello. Hi. Mwah. Okay, bye. I'll see y'all later. All right, I'm back. I love seeing them. That was my mama and my sister. But yeah, so it's just, there are times where life can feel confusing. It can feel like it's a one size fits all. Like I keep all my friends, everything's good and da-da-da-da, but other people have different experiences. And sometimes to get to the root of why does this keep happening, you have to distance yourself and do some inner work, do some shadow work. Yes, heal, the healing word. It's not just about like sit and cry and think of everything. It's also like letting life show you. Ask the questions, pray to God and see what happens. And for me, it was just this thing where I was either really angry or gave mad chances, but there wasn't this calmness that I could like process my emotions and really stand on what it is that I deserve. And I had really great boundaries, mind you, but I still was lacking in certain areas. And there's so many people right now that are learning themselves, and I feel for you. It's not easy. A lot of people looking at situations, you can judge a situation so easily. Oh, my arm. Oh my gosh. Okay, the arm. Oh my gosh. You know, but the minute you're in the situation, it's like, hold up, I didn't see this coming. I always thought, oh, I would never take a man back after he boom, bum, bow. I sure did. You know, like, but then I also get faulted for ending it with people and walking away. And it's just like, you know, there are things you do, you try, but people make decisions too. And so you have to walk away. Even a family member, I won't name names, but there's a family member, before things kind of blew up with my family and all that, I ended up going to her house and talking to her, having a heart to heart, like asking to speak with her. And I talked to her about things that were like pretty difficult for me to bring up, honestly. But I really wanted to have a talk. And this is someone very close, like knew me since I was a baby, been in my life all my life. And I had a deep talk with her. And she was like in the conversation, but not really, kind of dismissive and kind of like, anyway. Then she had to like pack for something. So she was like, okay, you know, I'll see you later. Never hear from her again. No follow up about the conversation. Then years later, we get back in contact and I end up talking to them again. And they're like, you did this and you did that when you came to talk to me. This is what you did. And I was just like looking at them, like looking at her like, what is your problem? Like, I had a heart to heart with you. If you didn't like what I said, you could have talked to me about it. That was a time. And I was like, this is why. And I guess this is a long story, but this is someone that also says, well, why don't you talk about what you feel and all that? And that was a perfect example of how I did try to talk to someone. And yet years later, you're screaming at me saying, I did this, I did that. And that's obviously how you felt when I talked to you back then. These are the things that I'm like, I have to process, like, what do I do in this situation? Like, yeah, this is family. This is someone that I love. But also, you're coming at me so wrong right now. I have not bothered you for years. And so these are the instances where you want to heal. You want things to improve. But the past will also scar you. And it's like, well, who can I trust? And how can I move? You know, even when you love people dearly, you want to keep them in your life and keep the relationship going. It feels confusing. It feels like, okay, boundaries. But then how do I know when I'm letting boundaries slide? How far do I go with this person? Do we hang out or do we just say hello? Are we acquaintances? It's hard. It's hard. So if you don't get anything else from this video, just know it's hard. Walking away from people, it doesn't feel all high and mighty. I've cried walking away from people. Okay, I've sobbed. So I'm like, this is not how I thought life was gonna be. You don't think I want a huge group of friends and all of that? I was traveling with girls, enjoying, and those were the same girls that ended up having drama with me. I still forgave. I was still good with it. I held my boundaries, and it still got worse. And so there comes a time where you have to take a moment and distance yourself, you know? And when it's time to really heal and the person's really willing, it'll happen. It's just, you have to be open about it. You have to like release the anger, the frustration from your heart, which can be hard. You know, it can feel really mixy because it's like, what the hell just happened? And how far did things go? You know, and it's sad. So I just feel for you if you are in the situation. If you're not, but you overhear people that go through it, please have a heart. Please have compassion. It's just not easy, you know, but the willingness to see the situation for what it is and to choose what it is that you want, not from a place of anger or frustration or they tried me, but from a genuine, like, hold up. I need to figure out what do I need in this moment. That is when you can hopefully start to get clarity. But even I don't have the best advice because I'm working through it still till this day, you know, and there are situations that have healed so beautifully in my life. Like me and my sister's relationship, whoo, cream of the crop. Like she has taught me what love is. She's taught me how to forgive and to really put in work with somebody that wants to put in work with you, you know, like. And I think it's hard to master that with other people because with me and my sister, we got so vulnerable, so deep. And I can't wait to talk about that one day. But we got so deep in the hardest times of our life. We had to admit how much shit we were talking about each other. We were talking shit about each other, long story short, you know? Like we had to get so honest about how much we couldn't stand each other, about the things that irked us, about, you know, like her apologizing to me about countless things, me just really stepping up and saying, okay, I can't tolerate certain things, but here's where I went wrong too. And you know what I mean? Like she really taught me. And so I'm open to understanding people. I just also know I can't go into it from a place of, but this is family and I have to. No, you're a human, I'm a human. Let's talk. And if it's not meant for us to talk, I have to also accept that and I have to be okay. Because some situations are meant to end, not because it's F you and oh, I can't do this no more, but because it's like, oh yeah, I know my worth. And just this isn't it anymore. And that has to be okay. Not only with you, but with them too. And even if it's not okay, you have to do what's best for you. The train training. But yeah, that's kind of something that, like I said, I'm still working on. I am not a pro. I just want to say that I feel for those that have really been in these situations. It's not fun at all. And I think people just need to have more compassion because it's not easy figuring out your cycles, figuring out why things continuously happen over and over with people, where you go wrong, where you need to step up, where you need to apologize. It doesn't change the love that I have. It just changed the fact that I have to check in with myself and understand, why am I still hurt whenever I'm around certain people? Why was I going through the same things, feeling so unseen with my family, blah, 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 you know? And so those are the difficult conversations and talks that I had to have with myself. And, you know, I've come to a consensus that I'll probably share in the future. But the point is, I feel for people that are in these situations. It's not fun. But yeah, the main thing I can say is don't write off the situation completely. Don't just say you're never gonna ever talk to them, because I've done that and I've literally, God has shown me, like, you think you run this? If I tell you you're gonna talk to them, you're gonna talk to them. You know what I mean? So I can admit that I was absolutely an ego and raw about, I'm never talking to them again, because you never know. That same person you don't talk to, they can end up having a kid, and that kid is the person that's gonna open doors for you in the future. Like, God will intertwine us and connect us in ways that we would never imagine. This movie called You Again, that's the one that gave me inspiration about this conversation, this topic actually. They had enemies in the past that they were like, I'm done with them, and those enemies, it like stuck with them. Those people that they didn't like, it stuck with them forever. And I don't know how to explain it, but it's a good movie, and it helps you to see how you may think you're done with a situation, but you're actually going to replay it until you find a level of peace and forgiveness for the situation, regardless of if you remain close to the people or not. You just have to have a level of peace in your heart. And that's hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. I get it. But it's real, you know. Anyway, I'm at my destination. I'll check back in with y'all if I feel like it. We gonna see. But like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things, okay? If you want to. If not, then I appreciate you being here. I always appreciate you being here, okay? But all right, I'll be back maybe. If not, bye.